Westfield, New Jersey. To the outside world, it is the pinnacle of the American dream. Ranked as one of the safest towns in America, its tree-lined streets and million-dollar colonial homes suggest a life of peace and prestige. But in June 2014, that dream turned into a waking nightmare for Derek and Maria Broaddus. They had just closed on a stunning 6-bedroom house at 657 Boulevard for $1.3 million. They were excited. They were hopeful. But as they began to paint the walls and plan their move, a thick white envelope appeared in their mailbox. It was addressed to the new owner. Inside was a letter that would change their lives forever. It didn't start with a welcome. It started with a claim of ownership. The writer called themselves the Watcher, and they had been waiting for the Broaddus family for a very, very long time. The first letter was chillingly specific. The Watcher claimed that their family had been observing 657 Boulevard since the 1920s. First, it was the grandfather in the 20s, then the father in the 60s. Now, it was the Watcher's turn. The letter read, "Do you know the history of the house? Do you know what lies within the walls of 657 Boulevard? Why are you here? I will find out." But it got darker. The Watcher began to criticize the renovations Derek was doing. "I see already that you have flooded 657 Boulevard with contractors. TSK, 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 bad move. You don't want to make 657 Boulevard unhappy." How did they know? The house was set back from the road. The windows were covered. Yet, someone was watching every hammer swing and every brush stroke. 2 weeks later, a second letter arrived. This one was more personal and much more terrifying. It mentioned the Broaddus' 3 children by their birth order and their nicknames. The Watcher asked, "Has the house found what is in the walls yet? In a few years, you will know. Will the young blood play in the basement? Who has the bedrooms facing the street? I will know as soon as you move in." The mention of young blood sent Maria into a panic. They stopped bringing their children to the house. They stopped the renovations. They realized this wasn't just a prank. This was a predator who was obsessed with their children. The police were called, but the investigation hit a brick wall immediately. There were no digital footprints, no DNA, just a stalker who seemed to be able to see through walls. Who could see into the house so clearly? The police looked at the immediate neighbors. To the right lived the Langfords. Peggy Langford, a woman in her 90s, had lived there since the 1960s. Her adult children lived with her, including Michael Langford, who was described by neighbors as a bit eccentric or a Boo Radley-type figure. Michael became the prime suspect. Police brought him in for questioning, but there was no evidence. No typewriter in his home matched the letters. No DNA on the envelopes matched his. The Langford family was insulted by the accusation. But if it wasn't the people living next door, who could it be? Was it someone watching from the park? Or someone who had once lived in the house and felt it still belonged to them? As months turned into years, the Broaddus family couldn't move in. They were paying a mortgage on a house they were too terrified to live in. They tried to sell it, but the news had gone viral. No one wanted to buy the Watcher house. Desperate, they sued the previous owners, the Woodwards, claiming they knew about the letters but didn't disclose them. The lawsuit failed. Then, the town turned on the Broadduses. A theory began to spread. Were Derek and Maria writing the letters to themselves? People claimed they realized they couldn't afford the house and staged a haunting to get out of the contract. This theory ignored one major fact. Why would a family destroy their own lives, their reputation, and lose $400,000 just to avoid mortgage? The psychological toll was real. Derek began carrying a knife. Maria was on medication. The Watcher had successfully destroyed them without ever firing a shot. In 2019, the house was finally sold to a new couple for a loss of nearly $500,000. The Broadduses handed over a photograph of the letters to the new owners and told them, "If you get a letter, run." To this day, in 2026, the new owners claim they haven't received a single note. Does this prove the Watcher was only obsessed with the Broaddus family? Or is the Watcher simply biding their time, waiting for the right young blood to return? During a recent inspection, a small hidden crawl space was found behind a linen closet, just large enough for a person to sit and listen to the conversations in the hallway. The identity of the Watcher remains the greatest unsolved mystery of New Jersey. A reminder that sometimes the dream home you've always wanted is actually a cage designed just for you. 657 Boulevard still stands, beautiful and silent, but the neighbors still watch. And somewhere, someone might still be writing. If you bought your dream home tomorrow, would you check the mailbox? Or would you be too afraid to look? Tell us your theories on the Watcher's identity in the comments below. Was it a neighbor or the owners themselves? This is Unresolved Truths. If you want more long-form documentaries on America's most disturbing cases, subscribe and hit the bell. Don't look behind you. Stay curious.